Rob Star Gang, what up? What up? Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Welcome to the Rob Star Report. Appreciate everyone being in here. As everyone is coming in, do me a favor and smash that like button like it owes you money. That's the best way you can show your support to the channel. And yeah, appreciate everyone being in here. I took the day off because I've been nonstop with content. I took the day off yesterday because I have been nonstop with content. Plus, I've been busy with my other job, so I just needed a day for myself where I didn't have to like stream or make content. But back to the grind. I usually just need a day off, and I just get right back to it. Then I get right back to it. So, but I appreciate you being in here. Happy Friday. It's a beautiful sunshine day here where I'm at. I don't know where it is, where you guys may be, but Mike Wynn already is coming in with some said we might trade Miles Sanders to Dallas. I think Miles Sanders is on the trade block for sure. And we're going to talk more about that because with the Jonathan Brooks pick, I'm going to make sense of that today, actually. Marcos Cash is already coming in. He knows what's up. He knows what to do, and that he's telling you what to do. What up, Panther Nation? Step on that like button. Quote of the day: learn as if you live forever. I've been starting to put some quotes in here today, get you guys motivated. Quote of the day: learn as if you will live forever. Live like you will die tomorrow. I try to do that, even though I'm a bit busy son of a bitch, but I try to do that. Stacy, what up? Appreciate you joining. Thank you for showing some love and support in the chat. So feel free to get in the chat and just do me a favor and smash that like button. See who else is in here. We're gonna let some stragglers get in. Let's get some stragglers get in. While we let these stragglers get in here. Let's get the show rolling. Okay. Jeff Arzen. Sup, Clay. Salute to everyone. Salute to you, Jeff, my friend. Salute to you, good sir. Salute to you. Jaden Crometti might be a steal. Panthers Nation go to Panthers. Might be. You never know. Again, I think with this draft class, we got to patiently wait and see. It's just one of those things with the draft classes. That's what I truly believe in. I'm trying to be patient with this team. I know others out there, Twitter is a toxic place. I see a lot of people that are just not patient enough. And that's your prerogative. That's you. That's all on you. I get it. A lot of people are done with Bryce. I get that too. Sounds like Cam Newton is too, which we're going to talk about that today. His comments. We're going to talk more about that. Who's your favorite pick from this draft? I'm going to discuss that actually in this segment right here. Best moves in the Panthers draft. Okay. All right. 18 people watching. Make sure you pound that like button. If you're watching on Twitter or Facebook, come on over to the YouTube channel. That's the best way to show your support. And just smash the like button and subscribe. All right. If you're on YouTube, please smash that like button. Do me a favor. That's the best way you can help me get my show out there to others that may not have seen it yet. So that's the reason why I want you guys to do that. Help me grow this channel. All right, let's get right into it. Enough of that. Enough of the shenanigans. Enough of me asking you to do me some favors. I am going to do a jersey giveaway because we did get 100 likes on that one of my live streams last week, and I promised it. So we are going to do a rookie jersey giveaway. I was going to do Xavier Legette, but I might just let the person pick. Okay. If we get this one to 100 likes, actually, I'm going to do an Xavier Legette rookie jersey. Screw that. That's what you're getting. The next one, if we get 100 likes on this one, I'll do a Jonathan Brooks jersey. I'll do a giveaway for Jonathan Brooks jersey. So make sure you smash that like button. You help me, I help you. All right. So best moves in this Panthers draft to me are, first up, you needed a jolt in that run game. All right. And they went out and got a guy in Jonathan Brooks in the second round. Now, Brooks, to me, filled a lot. He had to fill some big shoes that was left behind by Bijan and Roshan Johnson there in Austin, Texas, and he did very well. He ran an impressive 1,100 yards, 10 touchdowns. He had about 187 carries in 2023. Brooks' counting stats are very impressive. He averaged around 6.2 yards per carry for his career, and he was a force to be reckoned with, okay? 63 missed tackles last season, and he registered for 732 yards after the contact. Now, Brooks was also a weapon in the pass game, okay? He hauled in 25 receptions, 286 yards, and another score in just 10 games. So, a 6 foot, 207-pound running back to me sounds great. He looks the part of a workhorse running back, third down workhorse, right? The only issue again with Brooks to me is his torn ACL, okay? Late in 2023. Luckily, it was late. Might cost him a few games, I still think, to begin this season, but I think he's going to contribute at some point. They did say that he'll be ready. They did say that he would be ready for training camp, so we shall see if that's the case. Secondly, the second best one I thought was tight end was a weak spot for us, right, heading into this offseason. So last year, they got 58 receptions on 97 targets for 559 yards and 4 touchdowns from that position as a whole. Now, that's a position as a whole. We're talking about Tommy Tremble, Ian Thomas, Stephen Sullivan, Hayden Hurst. That is as a whole. The Panthers went out and got Jadavion Sanders in the 4th round of the draft. A tight end who could become a full-time weapon for them. Now, Sanders put up 99 receptions, over 1,200 yards, 7 scores during his 2 seasons at Austin, and he could be a perfect target in the middle of the field for quarterback Bryce Young. And then lastly, I don't think a lot of people are talking about this move, which I think we need to discuss, is that the Panthers traded back and still got their guy, right, Jonathan Brooks. They dished the 39th pick to the Los Angeles Rams in the 2nd round, which was for this 52nd pick overall, and a 5th round pick and a 2025 2nd-round pick. That 39th pick from the Giants, they exchanged for Brian Burns earlier that offseason. So they got basically out of the Brian Burns trade, if you think about it now, they got Brooks 13 picks later. All right. And they added a 2nd to their arsenal for next year's draft. So I think that these were the best moves they pulled off during the draft. They executed a draft strategy to a T, obviously. I think we had a great offseason. We'll see how these moves pan out. On paper, it looks great, but we need to see how it looks on the field. All right. It needs to see how it looks on the field. Processed blue or black XL. Man, that white would be clean too. I'll let you pick the color and the size. All right. But I'll get you a Xavier Legette jersey. All right. We're going to do a giveaway. I said I was going to do it today, but I think I'm going to do it on I think I'm going to do it on Monday. I think I'm going to do it on Monday because I didn't put a giveaway thing in here, and I totally forgot about it because I did promise you guys that. So I'm a man of my word, so I will make sure I get that done on Monday. I think 4 or 5 of our undrafted free will make the 53-man roster. Well, we'll talk about those guys, Black Fry, because honestly, Black Fry, I think that we had one of the best undrafted free agent groups. I think out of anybody, honestly. But my favorites were Jalen Coker, first off, wide receiver out of Holy Cross. He's obviously known for his ability to make tough catches. He uses his size to shield off defenders. Standing 6'1", 208, Coker had at least 50 catches in each of his final 3 seasons at Holy Cross. He's got a vertical jump of 42.5, which he tied the best mark of any player this year in this year's NFL Combine. So the athleticism's there. He isn't the quickest player, ran a 4.57 40, but that doesn't really mean anything. He looked a little slow running routes through his college career, but before we analyze this kid and everything and say he's gonna be a stud or anything like that, which I do think he's got the potential to be. Let's remember the level of competition he played with Holy Cross. All right. And now the FCS level is not the FBS level. Okay. And it is what it is. But I will say Jalen Coker's got all the potential in the world. And I'm not bashing him or denying any of that. Okay. I'm not denying any of that. Okay. Another one was Andrew Rame, the center out of Oklahoma. To me, he possesses that prototypical NFL size center, right? I think that he could be. We'll see. I think he's going to be a backup role. I think he'll make the 53-man roster, but he'll definitely be backing up Austin Corbett. I mean, he's a good size center, man. 6'4", 314. Played 29 games over his final 3 years at Oklahoma. He was the anchor of that offensive line. He helped that Sooners ranked third in the country in yards per game. They were third in the country last year. They averaged 507 yards per game in 2023. So he does have slow hands at the point of attack. He can struggle against quick defenders. I think this guy could find his way on this team's final 53-man roster if he can clean up some of those technical issues and lean into his strengths because he's a gritty mauler. So he just needs to be that gritty mauler. And if he does that, he'll make this 53-man roster. Another guy that I'm really liking is Willie Drew. He might be my favorite in this one. Willie Drew, the cornerback out of Virginia State. Just because of how bad we need cornerback room, I want this guy to be good and pan out. And he's known to be a ball hawk there in Virginia State. Racked up 11 interceptions over his final 2 seasons with the team with a 4.4 speed. Now, Drew has the quickness to keep up with athletic receivers. Now, however, he tends to struggle when playing against bigger, stronger pass catchers. And that's okay. I think that's something that he can work into as he comes along. Another one, Damani Richardson, a safety from Texas A&M, played 56 games over 5 years with the Aggies. All right, 2019 through 2023, totaled up 304 tackles during his college career, 14 pass breakups, 4 interceptions, 4 forced fumbles. He stands at 6'1", 210, giving him that ideal size for a safety prospect. However, he can process below he can process well, but the thing that bothers me the most with him is that he possesses a below average quickness. Okay. But he can't, I can see him stepping behind a play at times. But he's just not an immediate locked on type of guy. All right. And then finally, I think another guy that we got to look out because this running back room is stacked. Okay. Honestly, with Jaden Sherman, the running back from Monmouth, I like this kid a lot too. All right. I think this kid could be a home run hitter. All right. 14 rushes, 14 rushing touchdowns, at least 50 yards a game. Finished at his time at Monmouth with a school record for career yards per carry, 71.3. And when I say 50 yards, he had 14 rushing touchdowns of at least 50 yards. 14 of them were at least 50 yards, which means he could be, like I said, a home run hitter. All right. And he averaged 7.3 yards per carry. He's 5'8", 187, lightning fast. He does lack that ideal running back size and might struggle to break tackles against big defenders. But I think he's like a Willie Drew and Jalen Coker who have all the potential in the world who could surprise us and make this team. Honorable mention, though, in that undrafted free agent room, Sam Pinkney out of Coastal Carolina. I've seen that kid play from my alma mater. Go check him out if you haven't. Sam Pinkney's got a great tape. Kind of has that. He kind of does the same thing like Jalen Coker does. I think he might be a little bit faster than Coker, but their size is similar and their play style is. $29 people are watching. 29 people are watching. Make sure you pound that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. All right. That doesn't count as a part of the 53, though, does it? Like, these guys could become the 53-man roster, playing for Jesus. I mean, they have a chance, but that doesn't mean that they automatically are. No. These undrafted free agents are part of that offseason roster for as of right now. You'll see these guys through minicamp, OTAs, training camp, possibly, and all that stuff. Now we're shifting our. It sounds like Dan Morgan's shifting his attention to the waiver wires because we're first up on waiver wires. So 26 people watch on YouTube. Make sure you pound that like button. There's no reason why we shouldn't have 26 likes. That's the best thing you can do, and it's free, and it takes one click. So do me a favor and smash that like button for me, all right? We got 21 votes on that poll. There's no reason why we shouldn't have 21 likes. I mean, come on, guys. So do me a favor and smash that like button, all right? Let's continue. All right, Miles Sanders on the trade block. I think I still think a lot of people were surprised by the Jonathan Brooks pick. All right. I still, because there's a lot of lot of solid prospects out there. Okay. Available at positions of need, right? So when we picked Jonathan Brooks, you had Zach Frazier still on the board. You need a center. You had a bunch of guys on the board. I'd have to go back and see who was available at that time. All right. But Dan Morgan, defending his decision, stated the move that was the move that was in line with their goals to create competition in every position group. Jonathan Brooks, we all know, will be ready by training camp as what they say from that ACL tear. Now, the decision to draft Brooks, to me, may have implications to Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders had a disappointing first year for the Carolina Panthers. And why anybody thought this guy would come in and start out like he did in Philadelphia was beyond me. And I think I might have been one of those guys that thought that because I was thinking, oh, this guy was so good in Philly, and watched his tape and how he was so elusive and was able to break off tackles and make guys miss. But if you really go watch his tape and you actually pay attention to it now, and you go back and watch his Philly tape, not the Panthers tape, go watch the Philly tape. That offensive line just proves how good it was and how good it made Miles Sanders look. He lost the starting job to Chuba Hubbard last year. Now, Morgan did make it clear that this team is not looking to trade Sanders, as they see a big role for him in their offense. And Sanders has 3 years left on his contract. But there is a potential out after the 2024 season. Now, their decision to draft Jonathan Brooks, to me, in the second round sends signals that may be looking to reshape their running back room. However, this team is not actively trying to move Miles Sanders. They see him as a valuable part of his offense. Now, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think that they are going to try to trade. Now, they might not try to trade him this year, but I think that if they don't trade him, I don't think if it's me, I don't think you get rid of Blackshear. I think he's too much of a special teams punt returner, kick returner type of guy you can't let go. Because if they did let anybody go, it would be him. Now, again, they might let Raheem Blackshear go, and they might rock with Amir Smith-Marset to do the punt returns and kick returns. But if I'm the Carolina Panthers, I'm looking to try to move this guy. That's just me. I don't see any point in keeping him here. What has he done for me to feel like he needs to stay here? I'm excited to see how every position group works out. I'm excited to see if this running back group, I'm excited to see this running back group compete during training camp and OTAs, and I'm interested to see who's going to come out and who's going to be cut. So we shall see. I wonder if they're going to keep 4 running backs now at this point, unless they actually do trade Miles Sanders. But That doesn't seem to be the case. That doesn't seem to be the case. Yeah, Leggett can also return kickoffs, which I think that would be smart with the hip drop rule tackle, right? Flame for Jesus. I think a lot of people are not putting that into play with some of these guys. Leggett's going to be tough to tackle with that hip drop rule. Chuba Hubbard's going to be tough to tackle with that hip drop rule. It's got to be there's guys on this team. Like I think Sanders too could be tough to tackle for that with the hip. A lot of people are not really thinking about the rule changes on this punt return and kick return and the hip drop rule. And the blindside hits. Those 4 rules that they changed this year is going to play a big factor. It's going to change a lot to this game. And it's going to benefit a lot of players, and it's going to not benefit a lot of players. It's going to benefit a lot with those like big running backs, big tight ends, big wide receivers, right? It's gonna benefit them a lot. So that's just something I think a lot of people aren't considering when it comes to the new rule changes. Young Sun Wukong, I think I pronounced that right. Said I like Blackshear as the third running back. Yeah, I would rather it just be Jonathan Brooks, Blackshear, and then of course Chuba. But we'll see how it pans out. Remaining needs. Okay, we still got some remaining needs to meet. Firstly, they need to add depth to that defensive line, guys. I mean, are we going to hope that this guy continues to produce at nose tackle for an undersized nose tackle? Because he is an undersized nose tackle. But we're still keeping him there at nose tackle because we don't have anybody else. Unless Jaden Crometti comes out of unless Jaden Crometti comes out of nowhere and freaking, balls out and beats him to the position because, we have some projected starters that are good. I feel like there's the primary backups are not strong enough to provide adequate support, though. That's the thing, especially in case of injuries or fatigue. Therefore, I think it's got to be wise that we try to find somebody in the waiver wires once it does, once that hits. That's one unit I try to strengthen up. They've made some significant moves at the wide receivers off season. But I think adding another wide receiver doesn't hurt for, again, competition. You got Deontay Johnson, you got Xavier Leggett, you got Adam Thielen. They're all talented players. But I still think that they could use the competition in depth to bring in a guy like a T. Higgins, Debo, or Ayuk. It would definitely provide some significant boost. But I think wouldn't be a bad idea. But I think also, the cornerback room is a bigger need than that. Like I could see them trying to add somebody like that to this wide receiver room. I could see them adding somebody like those 3 guys, but I doubt it at this point. So for me, the next biggest need, though, I will say is to a cornerback room. Again, Deshaun Jameson, DiCaprio Boodle, Dane Jackson, Troy Hill, J.C. Horn, right? You got Shea Smith Wade, or however you pronounce his name. I thought it was Chow, but someone told me it wasn't Chow. I thought it was Chow, but I was obviously wrong. Shea Smith Wade, at the third, we picked him up in the draft. I mean, for me, it's like we still need somebody because but here's the thing: they must really when we were on that panel the other night on Wednesday night. That Ricky mentioned that they must really like DiCaprio Boodle. If they haven't really gone out, and they didn't really get somebody else. Now, again, Stefon Gilmore, there has been an update on that, which we're going to discuss here shortly. But there's still some remaining needs there in that corner room. I truly believe that. I just can't rely on a DiCaprio Boodle, a Deshaun Jameson, stepping in, you know, um, if JC Horn goes down, you know, if JC Horns goes down. So for me, that's another big need. And of course, finally, when you look at the depth chart now at this point, the starting center, there's no backup on the list if you're looking at it on the ESPN. To me, that suggests that this team may be overlooking a critical need in this position. So therefore, for me, as a Panthers fan, I think we need to sign a quality backup center. They need to ensure that they have adequate depth and competition in that critical positions. There's guys still out in the free agency still available in the center position. There's still corners out there still available that we could pick up. D tackles, very slim pickings, but there's guys out there. And not much in the wide receiver position, right? So, anyone know what the salary cap is? As in what? For this year, next year? Because I can tell you, Ben. At salary cap right now, like how much money we have left? Because next year we're going to have top 10 cap space. Maybe even top 5. Even with the contracts we've made this offseason. Because we're taking all the dead cap salary this year. Right now, the total team's cap salary, Ben, if that's what you're asking for, as of right now, the total cap space for our team's cap salary is $8 million. Right? $8 million. So, Ben, we're right as of right now. Good afternoon, Cyburn. It was 8 before the draft. According to Over the Cap, it says the team cap salary is at 8. That's as of right now. That at least that's according to Over the Cap. Now they haven't included. I don't think it looks like they've included. Well, it looks like they've included the it says 8 million. I was watching ESPN yesterday, and they said Chargers center Corey Lindsey will retire in a few days. So they may beat us as a potential landing spot for a sender. I know that could be true. What's good, Clay? What's got day one, Panthers fan? Yeah, the rookies haven't signed yet. That's what it is. That I figured that's what it was. Well, that could change though. Playing for Jesus. I mean that cap can always change. I was told last year, or I read somewhere last year that it was going to be around like $111 million to $95 million. Now again, that could change because of the contracts we made, and that was even after the contracts we made and the trades we made and all that good stuff. So maybe there's something that I don't. Maybe PMP knows something I don't know, and I'll have to do my research. 40 people are watching, only 21 likes. Step on that like button. Yeah, do it. Marcos Cash knows what's up. All right, let's move on. Draft picks in 2025. So I thought you might be interested in this. Okay, we're already. I mean, I think a lot of people I've already seen people, which is crazy to me, already looking at mock drafts in 2025. Why are we looking at doing mock drafts in 2025? You know what I mean? I don't get it. I just don't get it. So it's AJ Brooks coming in with something I did not know about. See, you learn something new every day. You'll learn something new every day. All right. So this year the Panthers were limited draft due to not having a first round pick. Dan Morgan worked his magic, picked up that extra draft capital, traded by Burns, moved out to 39, acquired a second round pick in 2025 for the Los Angeles Rams in exchange for some of those picks and getting Jonathan Brooks. With this pick, they were filling the gap with their first and third round selections. They also picked up a fifth round from the Giants and a seventh round pick from the Chiefs. So that allows them to have more flexibility in the draft. Now, according to Morgan, they didn't come in saying that they had to get that second round pick back, but the opportunity presented itself. They felt it was a good opportunity, and there you go. And I'm happy about that, acquiring that pick. And I feel really good about that and about our chances and, of course, next year's draft. But this is the list of the draft picks that we got. All right. This is the last list of the draft picks we got. You got a first round pick, second round from the Rams, the third round, fourth, fifth, an extra fifth from the Giants. Okay. You get a sixth round pick. They're our own seventh rounder, unless it's lower than Arizona's. And unless it's lower than Arizona's seventh rounder. And then we got the seventh round, another 7th round pick from the Chiefs. So, so there you go. There you have it. That is your draft picks for in 2025. Lomax, what's up? 2025 Panthers select James Pierce Jr. Seems like that might be a lot of mock draft cases. If we run 30 to 35 times a game, I think we can win. You're thinking they're going to run that same game plan Steve Wilkes did when he took over, playing for Jesus? That second round pick for the Rams will be a late second rounder because the Rams will be a good team. And that's fine. It's better than having a second round pick and not. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I was glad to get. I think that, again, I still think that's one of the best moves we've ever. That was the most swindled move I've ever seen from a Panthers front office. Normally, this front office is the one that gets swindled, right? So for them to pull that off, to me, says, I mean, I think that speaks volumes. That's just me, though. All right, Panthers schedule, guys. So this is some stuff that's coming up you're going to want to pay attention to. We got the schedule for the rookie minicamp, OTAs, mandatory minicamp. Okay, so guys, rookie minicamp, May 10th through the 12th. Okay, just giving you a heads up. OTAs, you got May 20th and May 21st, May 23rd, May 28th and 29th, and May 31st. And then June 3rd through the 4th, June 6th, and then mandatory minicamp June 11th through the 13th. Okay. He does run the ball a lot. I will give that. When will the NFL schedule be released? I think it's next week, actually. Hey, Nell, what's your first name? If you don't mind me asking, unless you just want me to call you Nell, or I don't know I want to be able to pronounce. I want to give you a name. Instead of saying "Hey now." So just some key dates coming up. Again, it's already May. You got the OTA mini camps are on deck for the Panthers, as well for all 31 teams in the league. The Panthers already got a little bit of a head start, that being holding a voluntary veteran minicamp ahead of the draft, which teams with a new head coach are permitted to do. But all three players participated in that window. They giving Canales a strong attendance to work with. The coaching staff will get their hands on the rookies they selected in the 2024 draft, along with the undrafted free agency. And then shortly after that, the whole band will get together for OTAs, which spans a little over 2 weeks. And then during this time, the staff will begin to install playbook piece by piece. And then, as you can see, this is where the offseason program starts up. And that was released on Wednesday. This was released on Wednesday. You can call me now. All right, perfect. I like to give people names because I don't want to be like, hey, no, you know what I mean? Just all right, I'll call you now. Perfect. Rock Jones, the All-Star Roundtable was a good show. Looking forward to the next one. Yeah, it sounds like P&P did mention that they're working on something. So, do you think the 18-game NFL schedule is a guarantee? I don't think it's guaranteed. I wouldn't say it's out of the question, though. I mean, it's a business at the end of the day. You know how it is. The NFL is all about that cheddar. Okay. I don't think it's a good idea because games. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Now, I don't think it's a good idea. I think 17 games is even almost pushing it a little bit. I think 16 games are perfect. Um, I think 16 games are perfect, but that is what it is. Again, it's about money. It's about that TV time and that money, and that's what it's about now. Unfortunately, that's the NFL. I still love the sport. I love the Panthers. I love the game. Um, there's just it's even happening in the NCAA. It's getting it's just all about that cheddar, moolah, dinero. Yep, exactly. Again, it's all about that TV time and the ticket sales and the jersey sales and all that good stuff. Yeah, 18 games, but it won't expand rosters. And that's another thing. I would be okay with the 18 games, honestly, Sideburns, if you could expand the rosters. If you could expand the rosters, I would say, sure, 18 games is by all means. But again, it's all about the money. Oh, I mean, at first I used to hate preseason. I'm not going to lie to that now. I used to hate preseason. I'm like, what's the point of having a preseason? Why can't we just get into the game? But then I realized as I got older and started understanding the game more, because that was my younger me, my younger, naive, ignorant me. I was like, oh, well, that's because, duh, it's important for those rookies that are coming in to develop. So, um, I mean, and I could see that too, Joe. I think Joe. I think that he makes a good point. Well, he still averaged over 200 yards, so that still counts for something, though, right? Flame for Jesus. I mean, he still averaged over 200 yards. I get that, but still, he averaged over 200 yards. And honestly, if Bryce Young could just do that, I'd be okay with it. Averaging 200 yards a game. I mean, but again, Baker Mayfield also Baker Mayfield did throw for over 300 yards in both of his playoff games. And he had multiple games where he was like averaging, you know, in the regular season, he averaged, if you look at his regular season stats, Flame for Jesus, he had over 4,000 yards. And then if you look at his postseason stats, he had over 686 yards in 2 games. So the man actually threw for over 4,600, basically almost 4,800 yards last year. If you take his postseason stats and his regular season stats and add them together, which is crazy. How much would you guys want the roster expanded by? 5 additional on the active roster, 5 to practice squad? I'd have to sit down and think about that a little bit more. I'd have to look at it more. I'd have to look, and I would have to look at the roster and see how many really, what position, I would definitely have to sit down and like really think about that and break that down. I heard rumors that Marshawn Lattimore may be a cap casualty if he's cut. Should we sign him? I would sign him in a heartbeat. I'd bring his ass right over here. I'd sign him in a heartbeat. That could be the case. It could be the case. We're going to talk more about him shortly. Double the rosters and triple the cap. You end up double the rosters. Double the rosters, triple the cap. You end up with something like the MLB, multiple pitchers. You have multiple franchise quarterbacks. You have to select when you play your number one. I mean, AJ Brooks, you don't have to just go with multiple quarterbacks, though. I'm saying of positions of need. Pause, laugh out loud. I have no idea if it was what I said or somebody else said, but pause. All right, so Stefon Gilmore update. Now, according to recent reports, there's a possibility that the Panthers could this came out recently that they could be acquiring Gilmore, which is good news for the team. Now the reports suggest that there's mutual interest in the return to the franchise, despite leaving under a cloud under the previous regime in 2021. Now, this news to me has met with a widespread of approval among the fan base, and I've noticed that. You get these, given the questions surrounding those within Evero's secondary. Now, I think this team is already, this team already drafted Smith Wade, which is with one of its late round selections. I don't think it's going to prevent Panthers from going back to Gilmore. I think this team desperately needs a short of dependable outside options. They need to rely on I think we're relying on a former first round pick, J.C. Horn, to stay healthy for an entire season. And I think it's unwise if we just sit there and count on that. All right. Gilmore might be a little long in the tooth, which means his production last season indicates that he could be he might have a couple more good years left in him. All right. Maybe not. He might be, Father Time might be catching up to him. All right. The money needs to work, and playing closer to home and alongside his old high school teammate and college teammate, Jadeveon Clowney, makes this a realistic outcome if Carolina sees fit. Now, the latest update on this whole situation is that there could be some fresh hope that a deal can be reached. Recent reports saying that although there's nothing intimate on this horizon between Gilmore and the Cowboys, I still think the Panthers could be in that pole position to pull off that transaction, given Clowney's revelation about the desire to come aboard. And at the same time, the chance of signing him elsewhere grows every passing day. But we need cornerback help. And I think Gilmore wants to come back. By all accounts, I think he wants to play with his former teammate. He wants to come back close to home, play maybe 1 to 2 more years here and call it a day. Lace up those cleats and call it a day. I think this looks like an opportunity that the team's management would be wise not to waste. They need to move some money around without much financial wiggle rooms as it stands. I think Brant Tillis has done an outstanding job this offseason working on contracts to benefit this team. And I think if anyone can make this deal work, I think he can, especially being that what he's done. So I'm hoping that as the reports continue to build on this, they should seriously consider bringing Gilmore back. I think he would be a valuable asset to the team. I don't think he's going to be the old Gilmore, though. I do believe that we're getting what we've seen last year at the Cowboys and the Colts and stuff like that the past 2 years. All right. But he provides a great wisdom to these younger guys. Okay. So I think he could be a great mentor to the younger guys that we have on this team. And he also adds extra depth to that position. I want to see 6 corners on this team this year. I truly believe that. I want to see 6. I want as much depth as possible on this team. in that room. Okay, pause. Not that you're judging or anything, but you're the one who said the pause. My bad. My bad. That's on me. That's on me, Young Sung. That's on me, Young Sung. Cowboys are interested in resigning Gilmore. Yeah, they definitely. There's still talks about them getting him back. Um, I would feel comfortable with Horn, Gilmore on the outside, with Smith Wade and the nickel, Dane Jackson as the fourth corner. Troy Hill's still number 3, guys. Now I still believe Troy Hill's the third corner. So for me, if they got Gilmore, I think it's Horn, Gilmore, and then Hill. And then it'll be Dane Jackson, Smith Wade. And then Deshaun Jameson, DiCaprio Boodle. But I think we need to have 6 corners on this team. I truly believe that. Talking about adding games like a 26 game for in a season, keep the playoffs the same. I'm talking about adding games like a 26 game for in a season. Keep the playoffs the same. Just my thought. If the NFL always wants more and more games, just make the jump. I feel that. Gilly Locke, come home. Yeah, I want him here too. You got to think about it if from Gilmore's perspective, because he's more than likely weighing between playing at home versus playing for a possible Super Bowl contender. I believe that. I mean, I could see that too now. I get that. I do see that side of things too, but I believe the Panthers way more than the girls if I'm Gilmore. I believe in the Panthers way more than the girls. Oh, he's talking about the Cowboys. All right, I was like, oh, wait a minute. But anyways, imagine how imagine how pissed Jerry Jones would be if we signed Gilly. Fuck Jerry Jones, dude. Cole Harley, fuck Jerry Jones. Girls are no contender. The girls are always going to be considered contenders because they're America's team and they will always fail. That's just who they are. I would rather hold on to Miles Sanders because of injuries to that position, and he will be very valuable by week 4. We'll see if that's true or not, Chauncey. We'll see if that's true or not. Question becomes whether or not we'll be winning. Don't think Gilmore would want to experience it. Yeah. I could see that too. Cut Sanders next season. He'll probably do well behind this line. Well, we can cut him after this season. We won't take too much of a big cap hit if we cut him next season. Run him and Chuba into the dirt. Keep 7 wideouts. Jeez. 6 corners, 6, 7 wideouts are must in my opinion too. I'm not opposed to the 6 or 7 wideouts. I could see 6, 7. I think we're pushing it a little bit. All right. 6 I can see. Right? So let's say if we go with it. We got Deontay Johnson, Adam Thielen, Xavier Legette. Are we Amir Smith-Marset? He's already on the team. So, and then Jonathan Mingo. Are we keeping Terrace Marshall? Maybe. Jalen Coker? Does he make the roster? It's going to be interesting how that wide receiver room pans out. I'm really interested to see. I think they're going to be moving. I think they're going to be using all the guys, and they're going to be using them to their strengths. Like Canales said, I think the wide receivers are going to be used the right way. And we may see some better production out of them. I want to trade him for that. We will not know that till the regular season. That's when we know if we're winning or not. True. Coker has to make this roster. I think he will. I think he's got all the potential of the world. I think he's got all the potential in the world. We'll just see how it pans out. We'll see how it pans out. Let's move on. Panthers front office shaking things up. So recent reports came out. I think it was yesterday. Maybe it was Wednesday. No, yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. The Panthers recently made a few changes to the front office after this draft. CBS Sports Insider Jonathan Jones on Thursday came out and said that this team decided to part ways with the director of pro scouting, Ron Hanaron, and assistant director of pro scouting, Tyler Ramsey. That was confirmed by Joe Parsons of The Athletic and Mike Cave, the Charlotte Observer. They were the first to acknowledge the news. Now, Ron Hanaron, or however you pronounce his last name, that guy has a resume. I mean, he started out as a media relations intern with the Buffalo Bills back in 2001. He spent 16 seasons with the team, holding various positions such as scouting assistant, pro personnel assistant, pro personnel coordinator, assistant director of pro personnel, assistant director of pro personnel, and then the director of pro personnel. And then he was hired as a pro scout by the Panthers in 2017. Now, Tyler Ramsey, who joined the Panthers 2021, he began his career as a personal intern for the Seattle Seahawks in 2009. He stayed with the Seahawks for 12 seasons, serving as a scouting assistant and area scout during that time. Obviously, there was no reasons why they were provided their departure, but I can definitely see reasons why. They've certainly made some significant changes to this front office. It remains to be seen how many more changes they make and how affect this team's performance in the upcoming, NFL season. Yeah, I think. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I mean, I can see 6. I just don't know 7. I mean, again, Dave Canales definitely uses. If you will watch Tampa Bay's tape, he uses, even when Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, he was still rotating at least 4 receivers in that. Dan Morgan firing those guys tells me he doesn't believe in the pro scouts. Exactly. That's exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth. TMJ let us see something with Wilkes. TMJ let us see something with Wilkes. Then had 6-9 catches last year. Then was a healthy scratch the rest of the year. Then he didn't get playing time. Then he was supposed to go out on the field, but then our head coach didn't know he wasn't on the field. That makes sense. Knew that was coming. Definitely need a fresh start. I've always felt we need to have better talent evaluators on our team like the Rams and Eagles do, for sure. Good. I mean, maybe Young Sung. Maybe. I've even heard the Chiefs could be probably interested in another wide receiver. He was making Mingo look bad as why Tepper and Fit had them sit Team J out. All right. Let's move on. Appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Do me a favor, make sure that we pound that like button. The jersey giveaway will be on Monday. Okay. Jersey giveaway will be on Monday, folks. Okay. If we get this one to 100 likes, we get this live stream to 100 likes, I will do another jersey giveaway the following week. And it'll be a Jonathan Brooks jersey. So the more we like, the more I give back. And likes are free. The jerseys aren't. Okay. Cam Newton. Did he put his foot in his mouth? Do y'all think he put his foot in his mouth? Or do you think he said anything wrong? Because, I mean, he is kind of, I will say this, he's kind of contradicting himself a little bit, right? Because of April 27, 2023, he said that the Panthers, he thinks that they should pick Bryce Young. Okay? He goes, he even quoted, if I'm the Carolina Panthers selecting Bryce, I'm selecting Bryce Young at first overall. So, and that was of April 27, 2023. Then he comes out and says that he would have taken Anthony Richardson and CJ Stroud over Bryce Young now after what he's seen. Do I blame him for that? No. but he kind of is contradicting himself a little bit. But I think everyone in that 2024, 2023 NFL draft saw Bryce Young, or, everybody watching that what did not think that he was the true number one. I think some people did. Coming to the league, he had high expectations. He's a former Alabama star. And, his rookie season didn't go according to plan, right? I mean, the Panthers, who invested heavily in this kid, right, let him down, in my opinion. You saw Young suffer accordingly, all right? However, regardless of the mitigating circumstances attached to that situation, he would be the first to admit that his performance could have been a lot better. Okay? Could have been a lot better. And since the season concluded last year, Young has come under heavy criticism. He is an easy target right now, especially given the fact of the Carolina's substantial investment in bringing him into the fold. Now, the latest skepticism came out, really for me, was from the most unlikeliest sources of Cam Newton, because I remember watching I watch Cam Newton's podcast pretty often. I remember that he also said that Carolina needed to get him some help. Cam Newton even said that on his podcast. But he also said some other things, okay? Newton had he's a supporter of Bryce Young, I do believe, right? He even offered him a well-placed advice on how firmly to establish himself en route to be better in 2024. However, when asked whether Carolina made the right call number one, Cam came out and said, based on what he's seen so far, he said C.J. Stroud and Anthony Richardson might have been better options with the top pick last year. And I don't think he meant anything by it. It's not something that anyone else is not saying. I mean, Newton is not saying anything wrong here. He's not saying anything that he's like criticizing Bryce. But he is also kind of contradicting himself from what he said back in April 27 of 2023, and then also saying that the kid needs help last year as well when we were in season. So then he comes out and says this, and I don't think his comments were meant to cause a stir as it did, especially even though, given his close association with the Panthers, this is not a wild take. It's more like a consensus after the first season in the pros. Young found himself in a absolutely atrocious situation, guys. Compared to this exceptional culture, Stroud slotted seamlessly into. He was running for his life behind an offensive line unit that represented Swiss cheese. His wide receivers couldn't create separation aside from a 33-year-old Adam Thielen. And they had and all the other ones had trouble creating consistent separation. The systematic concepts were bland and uninspiring and very predictable. Frank Wright's play calling was so predictable. And it was boring. It was very vanilla. Just like he was saying we were just going to run a vanilla offense during preseason. Well, it transitioned into the regular season. But this so-called all-star coaching staff, the Avengers, couldn't get the same page regarding Bryce Young's development. And then you've got rats. You got coaches texting the owner. The Hunger Games. It was complete shambles from start to finish. Whatever you want, you can say what you want. Okay. What made matters worse was Stroud was thriving in a much better environment in Houston during one of the best seasons I've ever seen in a rookie in NFL history as a quarterback. While Young was trying to pick himself up off the ground most of the time, Stroud was excelling, winning the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year, guiding the Texans to an AFC South title, securing memorable wildcard playoff victory over the Cleveland Browns. This came with obvious scrutiny centered on whether the Panthers made that monumental error in judgment. Now, Richardson, for example, season was less fruitful. I think the dual threat flashed moments of quality for sure. The number 4 pick lasted 4 games, before going into a season-ending injury with a shoulder injury. And I think the jury's still out, although it wouldn't be surprising to see him take the league by storm next season. So with the scope of all this to overcome these narratives, at the first time of asking Young can pull all the doubts to rest. Can he do that? I mean, the Panthers have spent this entire offseason prioritizing around this kid. And the offensive line looks stronger. The skill positions definitely are upgraded. Canales has now been, is a young head coach, offensive minded, known as that quarterback developer who plans to mold this scheme to suit Young's strengths and establish that running game. Everything is in place right now for Young to make strides. Again, if Bryce Young struggles, again, with a more productive supporting cast and enhancing and a better coaching staff, the doubts around this kid will be at an astronomical level. Newton didn't say he'd take Stroud or Richardson over Young, but the sentiment was there. But another bulletin board piece for Mr. Cam Newton to add to his ever-growing collection of those, I will say. It is a make-or-break season, though, I think, for Bryce Young. The stakes are high. The Panthers have done a solid foundation. They have built and provided this kid a solid foundation. Flame for Jesus, that's not true. And I can prove that to you that 30 of those sacks are on Bryce. I can actually prove that wrong. I can prove you wrong on that. I actually have statistical facts on that's not right. It's not 32 of them. I know it's like, I'm pretty sure the number on that Flame for Jesus is actually lower than that, but it's not good. I think it was like 17%. I think it was 17% or 15. No, it was 15% of 60 of the 62. So 62 times 0.15. No, that doesn't seem right. Wow, I got to find it. I think it was less than that. It's definitely less than what you're saying, Flame for Jesus. I saw a statistical fact on it. Let's see. Um, 29%. So 62 times 0.29. Okay. 18. It's actually 18 of those sacks. So 62 sacks. So I just watched tape with other people. I understand you watch tape. But 18% of the sacks that was accumulated off those tapes were Bryce's fault out of that 62. It was 18. Either way, okay, beyond that, a struggling rookie season, Young needs to step up his game and deliver the goods. Whether we want to believe it or not, the Panthers done everything in their power to ensure that he has the best possible chance of doing so. It's a make or break season for Bryce Young, guys, whether you like it or not. Dan Morgan, Dave Canales have been working tirelessly to surround Bryce Young with talent for him to succeed. This team has invested heavily in this offense during the offseason, both through free agency and the 2024 NFL draft, with a re-owned quarterback development head coach in Dave Canales. So for us Panthers fans, we should feel confident that they can help Young and reach his full potential. But we don't know that yet until we see it on. Everything looks great on paper. Everything looked great on paper last year, at least we thought. But the fact of the matter is that even these experts, there's experts out there that believe that Young is one of the big winners of 2024 of this 2024 draft, especially with this team's all-season additions. There's people out there that think that this team had one of the best off seasons, and that they're saying that Bryce Young may have had one of the best off season as a player in an organization that helped him out tremendously, adding the players who can stretch the field both horizontally and vertically, provide Young with more opportunities to excel. However, with all this investment in Young's success comes a high level expectations. So this team has shown tremendous faith in him. And now it's time for Young to deliver. He needs to be more consistent. He needs to step up in the clutch. He needs to lead this team from the front. Anything less could have significant consequences from him and this team. But with the infrastructure around him much improved, it's difficult to imagine a scenario where Bryce Young doesn't make substantial progress. He has the support. He has the tools to succeed. He's now up to make the most. He has to deliver. If he can do that and deliver on his potential, this team's confidence and its long-term success it's a bright future. But the kid still's got to work on his footwork. He's got to stop being on his tippy toes. He's got to plant his feet and throw. The scheme has to also fit the kid, which I think it's going to. So I'm not really too worried about that. But in short, the Panthers have done everything they can to set up Young for success. He has all the tools. I think he has the talent. And he's got the support he needs to achieve greatness. It's now up to him to put it all together and become that franchise caliber quarterback that this team believed that they traded all that assets for to go up and get him. Just watch tape with the other people. Yeah, and I don't know who those other people are, but I can tell you they might not be the smartest, but I don't know who they are. I don't know if you watch tape with Flame, so I don't know. They might be smart. They might not be. Who knows? They might not be. Clay, have you seen any Panthers license plate in MB? Question mark. No, I have not, unfortunately. Can't say that I have, Rock. Can't say that I have. Clay, agree, Clay. He has to prove it this year for sure. Shedeur Sanders ring a bell? I do not want Shedeur Sanders. Also, people don't realize that Young is not Ben Morgan or Dave Canales guys, so they're not emotionally invested in him like Tepper is. Go back to the good old days when the QB got hit every play. Again, it's changing. It's changing, Flame for Jesus. It's changing. I'm not a Shedeur fan at all. At all. I've watched the kids' tape. I'm not a fan. I don't think so either. I just don't. I don't think that Shedeur Sanders makes sense. There's too much turmoil going on in the Colorado locker room right now. There's reports all over the place, man. I don't know what they're doing over there in Colorado, but I don't want any part of it. And I don't want any part of it coming towards this organization. I can tell you that. Too much baggage, too much drama. And then Shedeur Sanders wouldn't come here anyways because his dad's not going to allow it. He even said that there was only 4 teams that he wanted him to get drafted by. So you can go ahead and throw that Shedeur Sanders bullshit out the window because that's what it is. It's bullshit. I don't want Shedeur Sanders anywhere near this organization. And if we draft a quarterback, it's probably going to be either Drew Allard or Quinn Ewers. I mean, we're looking at the quarterbacks next year. That's what I'm looking at. You know. It's probably going to be between, or they've even said Jalen Milroe, Carson Beck. I would take Carson Beck, Quinn Ewers. I'd even take Milroe and Drew Allard over freaking over Shedeur. So, I mean, I'm not too worried about it. Well, when we get there, we get there. When we get there, we get there. You know what I mean? It'll be interesting to see how things pan out, though. But next year's draft class, I mean, the quarterback draft class is not very good. It's just not. It is not very good. If you look at the draft class for next year, it is not very good. Like if you're I'm not too excited about it, let's be honest with you. Maybe Cameron Ward might be a guy. I think that Jackson Dart out of Ole Miss is going to be very good next year. I think we'll see how Dylan Gabriel plays out, but he's like 5'11", so I'm not too sure how I feel about him. He's just 5. The height issue there with him. Drew Allard might be a guy. Jalen Milroe, again, but I mean, I think it's very slim pickings next year. If Bryce balls out next year, I don't want to hear any more slander either, JSN. I don't want to hear any more slander either. I just think it's a make or break for him. That's all I was saying in that case of everything. Right on, Cowboys by default, right? They ran like we are right now. Not a good front office there. Colin Cowherd said the NFL GMs talked and said that the NFL teams are now giving rookie quarterbacks till Thanksgiving of the following year to determine if they are bust or not. What? Okay. Still keep up with them too, yeah. So again, it's slim pickings, guys, when it comes to it's very slim pickings when it comes to that damn quarterback position next year. Just going to let that be known right now. I hope we get number 15, Tez Johnson, wide receiver, Oregon. He was the reason Troy Franklin always got one-on-one man coverage. Well, we'll find out now, won't we? We'll find out if he's a bust. I don't know how much I trust the word Colin Cowherd, though. He's a hot take artist. This is true. Cyburn has a point. That was our old front office, Clay. Can't say that about this one. We just fired someone too. They're trying to bring fresh new people into this front office, I think. And that which they need to. They need to bring in fresh new they need to bring in fresh new. Shout out everyone. Yeah, I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Make sure you do these 3 things. Let's try that again. There we go. That's better. So make sure you do those 3 things for me. I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. I am going to hop off of here. It's time for me to go hit the gym. And I'll see you next time. Monday, by the way, 100 likes on this live stream. I'll do another giveaway. But Monday, we will do the Xavier Legette jersey giveaway. So, again, I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Again, make sure you pound the like button and subscribe. And as always, guys, love every single one of you. Love everyone that shows me support. Y'all, as always, make sure y'all keep pounding, baby. Keep pounding. Have a good weekend. Peace.